Good evening to all my wonderful viewers out there. Welcome back to our not so weekly podcast series, Sneakers and Stuff. In today's episode, episode 14, we have got so much to talk about. Because I didn't do episode 14 before the end of 2020, we've got all the releases to talk about up to the end of 2020, all the news that has been released now that it's 2021, and what we have to look forward to this year. This episode is gonna be a big one, but some big topics that we will be talking about especially is that Fragment Designs and Playboy collaborated for a nice little capsule. We have that KITH and the Simpsons collaborated for a huge 2021 Monday program, and we've got that Adidas has stolen Fear of God's Jerry Lorenzo from Nike. Some big news, guys. We're going to be covering those three topics and so many more in today's episode. I'm back, guys. Some of you are probably like, whoa, Daniel, how dare you make an appearance again after you didn't cover the Bape Levi's collaboration that released recently in 2021, or even just do a separate streetwear talk video for the KITH Simpsons Monday program. Look, you're totally fair. There were a lot of releases that I haven't covered, and it has been a whole week since I've been posting on the channel. I was actually going to announce my busy schedule and the reasons why I haven't posted a video on YouTube for a week, probably on Twitter or either on my Patreon. It was going to happen on either one of the two. It ended up not happening at all, but what happened is obviously I covered the Martin Luther King Monday program that released last Monday. Then from Monday to Thursday, I was writing episode 14 of the podcast. Then, me being a little bit more optimistic, I was like, you know what? On Thursday night, the day before I decide to go take a nice little summer vacation with my friends, I'll record, edit, and upload episode 14. Now, obviously that didn't happen because I was unable to do it after I came home from work. So the next day, instead of having the video uploaded, I went on my little trip. Because you guys don't know, I went on a little trip with my friends from the Friday to the Monday, so yesterday, the 25th of January, up to a little place called Coles Bay. It's a really lovely spot up the East Coast, and I just had a lot of fun. Chilling out with friends, swimming at the beach, all that good stuff. And then coming back, well, that's why you guys may notice now I look like a cherry tomato, because I just got absolutely pounded by the sun. I was layering up on sunscreen every hour. Didn't make a difference. It was just killing me, and now I'm a cherry tomato for today's episode. But that's alright, at least I'm back. Now, I had to rewrite episode 14 because all the upcoming releases happened when I went on that little trip. So this is technically episode 14 Redux because I had to redo the whole episode. So that's what I spent my Monday when I came back doing. And again, I was a little bit too optimistic because I thought, you know what? Easy. I'll come back. I'll be fine. I'll be able to do episode 14 and do the streetwear talk video covering the KITH Simpsons Monday program before it releases. Again, I was being way too optimistic on my, ability to be able to do that type of thing because it didn't happen. But I got the episode all written up. So now on Tuesday, the 26th of January, we are recording episode 14. And we're going to be doing it just like we've done every other episode in 8 different segments. We're going to dedicate segment 1, which is Sunday's Best Dressed, to a little part of the podcast where you guys can send in your fit pics and feature on the podcast. Of course, you'll be credited and everything like that. We haven't had any submissions as of yet, but if you'd like to submit an outfit, just send it to my DMs. Send the post on Instagram to my Instagram DMs, and you can definitely feature on there. I also dress up in that section of the podcast in a little outfit that I like to throw together. Moving on, we have obviously section 2, which is Heat on My Feet, a sneaker or retro that I have recently been enjoying. I would also love for you guys to let me know of a sneaker and retro that you've been enjoying down in that comment section below during that section as well. Moving on, we have our third section, which is recent pickups. This part of the podcast where I dedicate to my recent sneaker, fashion, streetwear, and sometimes even jewelry pickups that I have picked up. Moving on, we go to our biggest section, section 4, which is recent releases. That's where, you know, it all comes together. Recent streetwear, fashion, sneaker, jewelry. We cover all those recent releases there. It's always the biggest section because there's always so much releasing and I can just never get around to covering it all, which is one of the main reasons why we do this podcast series. Moving on, we have section number 5, which is streetwear and fashion news and rumors, where we'll be covering the latest news and rumors to do with the streetwear and fashion world. Moving on, we have section 6, which of course is the opposite of that in a way. Sneaker news and rumors. Any of the latest sneaker news and rumors that have been floating around on Instagram and the internet in general. Moving on, we have our final 2 sections, which are dedicating to covering this week's sneaker, streetwear, and fashion releases. So section 7 is upcoming streetwear and fashion releases, and section 8, the final section, is upcoming sneaker releases. As always, as I said, like every other episode we've done. Now that I've explained it all to you, let's dive into section 1, which is Sunday's best dressed. And as always, if you guys want to feature in the next episode, send me your outfits via my Instagram DMs. But let's get into it. Let's get into section 1, Sunday's best dressed. Okay, so for episode 13, guys, I don't know. For me, this is a pretty standard fit that I like to rock. A very baggy, wide, straight leg fitting pair of jeans, in this particular case the 501s, with a very baggy, I mean, it is a varsity jacket out of technicality. It's got the wool center, the leather arms, so it's got everything that makes a varsity jacket. And also, you know, it's referencing one of my, if not my favorite TV series, The Sopranos. I tried to color combo the jacket with the shoes, so I went with the Jordan Bread 1s. And just to have a little bit of layering, I went with the iconic Champion reverse weave hoodie underneath, as it has a really nice baggy fit and a really big hood. I tried to go with a very 90s baggy street kind of fit, and this is definitely my general go-to aesthetic, but this is going to be the Sunday's best dressed for episode 14. And that is section 1 done, guys. That is Sunday's best dressed, because normally the podcast would be on a Sunday if I could release it on time, and we always got to be the best dressed on Sunday. But I mean, Tuesday's best dressed, I suppose. that's a good way to put it. Anyway, let's move on to the second section, which of course is Heat on My Feet, the part of the podcast where I dedicate to a, you know, sneaker or retro that I have recently been enjoying. And for episode 14, it's going to go to the regular attender, the one that always crops up, which is the Chicago ones, because I mean, I was just wearing these before the end of the year when the original episode 14 was all written up and all done, and I'm still going to go with them. I was really enjoying them towards the end of the year. It's just an amazing colorway on an awesome classic silhouette. Can't wait for the next retro of these, which, I mean, it's probably going to be in like 2022, because that marks like 7 years since it's been retroed, because this was the last retro of the Chicago ones, the 2015 retro, but I absolutely love them. I think it's a sick retro. I literally have barely any complaints. I would only change the swoosh to match the swoosh that the 1985 pairs had, which was a larger swoosh, but apart from that, I absolutely love this shoe, and it's definitely going to go as the heat on my feet for this week's episode, guys. But I want to hear from you. What has been a sneaker or retro that you guys have recently been enjoying? Definitely let me know down in that comment section below, but we'll move on over now to section 3, which is my recent pickups. Now, to start off section 3, guys, of recent pickups, we're going to kick it off with the haul that I did of Uniqlo merino wool turtleneck sweaters. So I recently did a haul from Uniqlo Australia of turtleneck sweaters. I've been looking to get a bunch of turtleneck sweaters for the colder seasons, as I feel like they just look really, really good under jackets, outwear, things like that. And you know that's definitely where I really shine with my outfits, which is the layering and outwear. So I thought I'd pick up a couple of these because I think they just look really nice under some really solid iconic pieces like a trench coat, sometimes even a varsity jacket, depending on the color combinations. They can just work really, really well. Now, they are marked as sweaters, but as described in the unboxing video I'm probably going to wear them more like t-shirts, so I'm not going to wear them as a second layer, but as a first layer on my upper, just because I feel like the fit looks better, it works better. It's just my personal preference. If you guys want to watch a video of me unboxing the gray one, a black one, and a navy one, I have the video on the channel, so definitely go check that out. If you guys want to just see how turtlenecks look, how they fit, how the Uniqlo ones fit, definitely head on over and go watch that video. But that is the first set of items. I only showcased one color, but you kind of get the gist of it. That is the first item I'm going to be showcasing to you guys, which is the Uniqlo merino wool turtleneck sweaters. Now, secondly, this one we also unboxed on the channel. This one I bought as a little Christmas present for myself, one that I'll be definitely wearing out in the summer, because with my outfits, especially summer, they usually shine with the accessories because I'm unable to layer because it's hotter. So this is where I really shine, and it's in the accessories, as I just mentioned. And for the second item in recent pickups, it's going to go to the Alix Studios Fall Winter 2020 wallet chain, which I use more of as like a belt chain. This piece here, I unboxed it on the channel, showcased it to you guys. I picked this up from Essence as it was on sale. Essence was having a end of year sale. It's a really solid piece. The chain mimics all the other Alix Studios chains that I wear. So I was like, you know what, let's go a little matchy, just get all that Alix goodness. And yeah, I got all of them. Absolutely love Matthew M. Williams's accessories when it comes to Alix Studios. And you know what, when it was on sale, I thought, why not? Let's pick it up. I'm gonna wear it. It's gonna look sick. But yeah, just a really dope piece, guys. If you want to see how that looks on body, definitely go check out the unboxing video that I did for that. And it comes in its nice little cardboard box like all Alix Studios pieces do. But there you go. That is my second pickup, guys. The Fall Winter 2020 Alix Studios wallet chain. Now, and last but not least, my third recent pickup is actually going to be a little gift that I received from an upcoming UK streetwear brand. Yes, for my third recent pickups, it's going to go to the Error No Go little gift package that I got from them, which finally landed around, I think it was around Christmas or early 2021, which I unboxed on the channel. It was very, very nice of Error No Go to send me a bunch of clothing. They literally, you know, pulling a very risky move, sending a small-time YouTuber a bunch of clothing, but I got it, reviewed them all. I'm a huge fan of their tees. I actually wore their tees while I was on holiday. A lot of people were actually really enjoying them. They're like, oh, that's kind of a dope tee. So who knows, free advertising, I suppose, for Error No Go. But yeah, this is one of the crew neck sweaters that they sent to me. I love the design on it. It's Error No Go done in like an old digital clock. The only critique that I had of it in the video was the actual fit, but I dive into that in the unboxing video, guys. So if you want to check out my opinion on all the pieces and also want to see all the pieces that Error No Go sent me, definitely go check out that unboxing video there. But that is it. That is all my recent pickups that I have to showcase in episode 14, guys. So we'll move on now to the biggest section, which is massive, which is recent releases. Let's go check out all the recent releases that have happened in the past month or so. Let's get into it, guys. The biggest section of this podcast, which is going to be section 4, recent streetwear, fashion, sneaker, and jewelry releases. It is massive. We have got so much to talk about. We're going to be talking about all the recent releases that happened from the 14th of the 12th, 2020, so the 14th of December, all the way up to the 24th of January. So it's over a month worth of releases. It is just page after page. Let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about. We'll start it off by talking about a release that happened on the 14th of the 12th, 2020, which is the KITH and Nike for New York Knicks Uniform Monday program. So on the 14th of the 12th, 2020, KITH released with Nike a nice little Monday program, which was the New York Knicks uniform reimagined through the eyes of Ronnie Feig. It was done with, you know, Nike's amazing dry fit material, and the branding and the overall uniform was just changed to a more darker color palette. It was a very cool Monday program, but what was more important was the big collection of Follow, which was essentially that Monday program expanded into a full collection, which we'll also dive into as well. But if you were interested in the uniform Monday program, it released on the 14th of the 12th. and I'm sure you can pick it up on some places like Grailed or StockX. Now, moving on to a couple days later, we have on the 17th of the 12th, we had week 17 of Supreme's Fall Winter 2020 collection. Yes, that's right, all the way back then they were doing the collection because we're in the off season at the moment. But week 17, we saw some big pieces being released that week. We had the Cross Box logo t-shirt, we had the Mariah Carey t-shirt, and the Chucky doll was another highlight of that week. There wasn't anything that I was too interested in picking up, but there were definitely some big releases there for a couple of Supreme fans there. Let me know if any of you guys picked up anything from week 17, but it dropped on the 17th of December 2020. Now, of course, if we're talking about Supreme, we've obviously got to go talk about our friends over in the UK, which is Palace Skateboards. They released their Ultimo Week 4 on the 18th of the 12th, sorry. This had some huge items from their Ultimo seasonal range. It had the Palaska Fleece, which was a very hyped up item. I've discussed it many times on the channel. It just wasn't for me because I didn't like that it was a hooded piece. Would have much preferred if it was collared, but it is what it is. Next we had the Palace EMB crew neck, which is definitely one of my favorite pieces from the season. The attention to detail, the embroidery on the chest there, it's very cool. I wouldn't mind picking that up if it does appear on Grailed or something for a reasonable price there. And last but not least, another standout piece from that drop was the camo Tri-Ferg t-shirt. Little Tri-Ferg t-shirt with the camo print all over it. It was kind of cool, but we have gotten a lot of Tri-Fergs in that season and in that year in general, so I felt like the Palaska stuff was definitely more gripping for me because it was different. But it was a very solid week all round, and it dropped on the 18th of the 12th. Next, we have one of the big topics that we're going to be covering today, which is that Fragment Designs collaborated with Playboy Labs. They released a bunch of hoodies and t-shirts done in a very simple color palette of black and white, but where it was really cool was that instead of using very sexualized women or the iconic Playboy motif, Fragment Designs is like, nah, let's use actual bunnies. And then they did. They on top of the, iconic logos, they instead used a bunch of bunnies instead of, as I mentioned, very over sexualized women or the iconic Playboy logo. So I thought that was kind of a cool change of, thinking when it comes to a Playboy collaboration, because whenever someone collabs with Playboy, they always use the Playboy motif. They always use one of the famous covers of one of their magazines from decades ago. But this one was different, and I kind of felt like we had to talk about it just because it was so cool and so different. But yes, that capsule released on the 19th of the 12th, 2020, guys. You could pick it up on some, second market stockists like Grailed and StockX. I'm sure that they would be available there. Next, we have another retro of a iconic Nike model. We have the Nike Air Max 95 OG neon colorway got retroed on the 17th of the 12th, 2020. Retroed for $170 US, which, oh geez, to me sounds a bit pricey for some Air Max 95s, but maybe it's just because I'm not into Air Maxes that isn't that expensive, but to me that sounded quite expensive. It's an OG colorway. It's a very iconic colorway. They retro these like every 5 years though. Like I swear we just got the 2015 retro, if I'm remembering correctly, if they retroed them in 2015, but they retro them all the time. So I'm kind of like, I've seen it before. I love it because it's an OG colorway, but I've seen it a lot. Either way, if you guys are interested, it released on the 17th from memory. Yes, 17th of the 12th, 2020. I'm sure you could pick this up on the secondary market for a pretty good price. Now next we have another big time collaboration. We have that Nike and Sacai collaborated on a vapor waffle. Yes, this is a new silhouette that they have come up with together. It released in a tour yellow and stadium green. I honestly, initially when I saw it, I was kind of a fan of the silhouette. The silhouette reminded me of the very chunky oversized shoes that Denma did for Balenciaga, but I felt like they missed the mark on this collaboration because they did like a painted swoosh on some mesh. I really felt like this could have just easily been elevated to a new height if they just did two swooshes out of leather or whatever material, like two solid swooshes not a painted swoosh and then a solid material swoosh. I felt like if they did 2 swooshes, it would have been awesome. It would have been like perfect, but that's just me. Either way, the first colorway of that collaboration released on the 17th of the 12th for $180 US. Next, moving on to an Adidas collaboration, we have that Adidas and Blondie, the famous skater, artist, all the titles he has, they collaborated on another pair of superstars. I think this is superstar number 3 at this point. They collaborated on the Starlight Blue superstars. It was a very nice colorway, released on the 18th of the 12th. I could only find it in its converted American price, which was $154 US, but yeah, I enjoy Blondie's collaborations with Adidas. He's a cool skater. He actually skates for Supreme now these days, I think, because he appeared in the Barbour collaboration lookbook, but I could be wrong. Don't stay up to date with the skating gang as much as I should, but yeah, this superstar was quite cool. I thought it was quite cool, and it dropped on the 18th of the 12th for around about $154 US. Next, on top of, continuing on, as I alluded to, KITH and Nike collaborated for that Monday program, the Uniform Monday program, but later that week, on the 18th of the 12th, so the Friday, they also released a bigger collection, and in that collection, they released a pair of Air Force Ones. They released it, and it is called the Knicks Away colorway. It released for 190 Australian dollars, or around about, I think it was 130 US dollars. It's a very simple Air Force One, a white Air Force One, being changed with some of the Knicks colors there. It's nice. I always enjoy KITH's Air Forces, so they did a pretty solid job with this. And it dropped on the 18th of the 12th for around about 190 Australian dollars, but I think it was 130 US dollars. Hard to think about with the conversion. Next, we have a collaboration with Reebok. Bape and Reebok collaborated with each other on a pair of Club C Bapesters. These released for 150 US dollars on the 19th of the 12th. I don't go much with the Bape collaborations on shoes, but this one was alright. If you guys are interested, I'm sure you could find it on the secondary market. Bape doesn't resell for too much these days, but it released at retail pricing for 150 US dollars on the 19th of December. Next, we have quite a special SB Dunk, which I feel like went a little bit more under the radar than people were expecting, because it wasn't labeled as a Strange Love collaboration, when technically it is, sorta. Anyway, what happened was that Nike SB collaborated with, I think it's Sean Cliver, if that's how you pronounce his last name, on a pair of Dunk Lows. It was nicknamed the Holiday Special colorway. They released for 110 US dollars on the 19th of the 12th. But why I mentioned Strange Love was because Sean Cliver, he is the original owner of Strange Love Skateboards. He's the one that started that skateboarding brand that collaborated with Nike SB earlier on in the year on those velvet pink Dunk Lows. So this is technically part 2, but as I said, it would have gone under the radar because people wouldn't have known that he is the owner of Strange Love Skateboards. So I thought that was kind of cool. They released on the 19th of the 12th, if any of you guys were interested in the release details there. Next, we have another Jordan release. Yes, on the 19th of the 12th, we got a pair of Hyper Royal Air Jordan 13s. These are alright. I mean, nothing too special about them. I'm sure they'll appear down the road under retail if people want to pick them up. But yeah, 190 US dollars, and they released on the 19th of the 12th. Next, we have another Yeezy release. Next, we have the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Sand Tape or Tarp. It released for 220 US dollars on the 19th of the 12th. It was an alright 350 V2. It's like pretty easy to wear, but I've just seen so many 350 V2s at this point where I'm kind of just like, what's the difference, you know? So yeah, I mean, it was a solid release, but I don't know. I was well over the 350 V2s a long time ago. Very much sick of them now. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but maybe you picked them up. Let me know if you definitely picked them up or not, but they released on the 19th of the 12th for the usual 220 US dollars. Now, next we have to talk about another A-League Studios release. What we had is that Nike and Matthew M. Williams, the owner of A-League Studios, they collaborated together on some Zoom MMW4s. This is a model unique to this collaboration. It hasn't released before. It's Matthew M. Williams redoing a Zoom runner model from the early 2000s. There's a really interesting little soundbite that was posted either on his Instagram or on A-League Studios' Instagram, where he talks about where he took his ideas and designs from and how he, really enjoyed the creative freedom that Nike gave him with this collaboration. I think that's really cool. What I don't think is really cool is the retail price. Because this boy is damn expensive, and unless you absolutely love A-League Studios, I just can't see the average Joe picking this one up because it was mad expensive. It dropped for $450 US. I know, $450 US, and it dropped on the 21st of December. I mean, what a wild retail price, man. Next, we have to talk about another Nike collaboration. This one, we just talked about the previous colorway. Now we're talking about the second colorway that happened, but it got released a little bit later. We had Nike and Sacai collaborated on a second colorway of their Vapor Waffles, and they did a Villain Red and Neptune Green colorway, which I think I gotta say is probably my preference, probably the one I prefer more. But again, I had issues with the silhouette in general, so I don't think these colorways can really change it too much, where I'm like, oh my god, this shoe's amazing. They needed to tweak that silhouette. But this released for $180 US on the 21st of December. Next, we have to talk about another Adidas Yeezy release. We have to talk about the Adidas Yeezy 700 V3 Clay Browns. They released for $200 US on the 21st of the 12th. The 700 V3s, it's a pretty interesting silhouette. They don't have any boost technology in them, so that's why that they're at the cheaper retail price of $200 US. The colorway was alright, but the V3 isn't my favorite model of the 700s. But yeah, they released on the 21st of the 12th for $200 US. Next, we have a pretty big, I wouldn't call it a collaboration, but a pretty big release here. What we have is that the Jordan 11s got an Adapt release. What that means is that they got the technology, the auto lacing technology, applied to them. They only released in one colorway, the white colorway, but it released for $500 US, which is Jesus. It's an expensive retail price. It released in various different regions at different dates because obviously you've got to recharge them to auto lace, and they all come with different charging sockets that plug into wall sockets. So depending on which region you're from, you either got them earlier or later. They released on the 22nd of the 12th for Europe, and they released later on the 30th of the 12th for America. I don't think Australia got a release of them at all. So if I wanted to buy a pair, if hypothetically they could do a release in my size, I'd have to buy either the US or the UK one and then get a converter to plug it into my power sockets to get it to work. So yeah, that's probably the downfall of having these auto lacing shoes, is that everyone's got different regions and it just doesn't work for everyone. But it was cool. I really like that Jordan brand put this technology on one of the best Jordan models, which is the Jordan 11s. Hopefully we can see that technology being applied to other Jordan models in the future, but hopefully for a much cheaper retail price. Now, speaking of a release that happened very, very close to Christmas, we have that Nike retroed the Kobe 6 Protro Grinch colorway. These released on released for $190 US on the 24th of the 12th, so Christmas Eve. These were apparently very hard to get. Heaps of resellers were buying them. They are restocked in small areas, because they were able to find extra pairs or whatever, but apparently it was a very hard release to pick up, guys. Definitely let me know if you're able to pick one up for retail. I'm not a huge fan of the Kobe 6s. I've never been a fan of any of the Kobe models, just because I'm not a huge fan of athletic basketball shoes, because I don't generally play basketball a lot. More of a fan of the casual 80s basketball shoes, obviously, as you can tell here. But yeah, they released for $190 US on the 24th of December. And next we have a reverse model of one of the most iconic colorways of the Jordan 12s. On Boxing Day, we had the Air Jordan 12 Reverse Flu Games released for $190 US. It's just an inverted colorway of the iconic Flu Games. Honestly, wouldn't mind picking up a pair of Flu Game 12s, but I mean, even the reverse ones seem kind of interesting enough because it's very simple color blocking. It's black and red, so I mean, yeah. Potentially I might have to consider picking them up, but yeah, they released on Boxing Day for $190 US. Next we had a little collaboration. Next we had the Nike and Undefeated collaborated on some Air Max 97s in a black and militia green colorway for $180 US on the 29th of the 12th. So just before the end of 2020, we get a nice little Undefeated Nike collaboration there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, guys, but it released on the 29th of the 12th for $180 US. Next, we had a big release. We had that Nike and Bodega collaborated on some Dunk Highs. These released in a brown colorway and a different Friends and Family colorway as well. They released for $120 US on the 30th of the 12th. A very interesting different take on the Dunk Highs there, with a very small swoosh compared to the normal sized one there, and a bunch of other details to match as well. I'd love to know your thoughts on these guys, and they dropped on the 30th of the 12th for $120 US. Obviously, recently we had the Gucci North Face collaboration. We released a bunch of down jackets in various different all over 70s inspired prints, as well as a bunch of other clothing to match as well. But what we're going to be talking about right now is that they released a boot that came in 3 different colors. It came in a brown, it came in a black, it came in an ivory, and oh boy, did they release in a big retail price. These bad boys, these Gucci North Face boots, they released for $1,290 US, which is just insane to me. These released on the 6th of the 1st, which I'm guessing is the same day that the actual collaboration itself released, as why would they release differently? It did release earlier on in 2020 though, in places like, I think it was China got an early release. A couple of places around the world where there were, Gucci boutiques got it early, but yeah, these boots released worldwide on the 6th of the 1st. Moving on, we got to talk about one of my favorite streetwear brands collaborating with a very popular sneaker brand. What we have is that New Balance collaborated with Stray Rats on 2 pairs of 574s. They collaborated on one in a red colorway and one in a green colorway. They both released on the 8th of the 1st, 2021 for $100 US there. So a little bit pricey for 574s, but it's a collaboration, so I can understand why the retail price got bumped up there. Next, we got to talk about another collaboration with Nike. We've got to talk about a Nike Air Max 97, as they were in collaboration with Undefeated. Yes, they made a second colorway, but this one dropped a little bit later. So this is the UCLA colorway. This one dropped for the same retail price of $180 US, but it dropped on the 8th of the 1st, which was a little bit later to the first colorway that we covered there. So yeah, I guess it just scheduling issues or something caused it to release a little bit later, but according to the StockX page that I was looking at, we got a little bit later, guys. But I'd love to know which is your favorite out of the 2 colorways that dropped. This second colorway dropped on the 8th of the 1st. Now, next we have to talk about the first Jordan 1 High OG to release in 2021. It's definitely not a good standard that they set, because I think it's one of the ugliest Jordan 1 High OGs that I've ever seen, but maybe you'll disagree with me on that one. What we have here to kick off 2021 is we have the Air Jordan 1 High OG Black Vault University Gold colorway. Dropped for the retail price of $170 US, obviously, and it dropped on the 9th of the 1st of January. I don't understand what Jordan Brand was doing with the heel there. I don't know why it splits into 2 different colors on the upper part of the heel and the lower part of the heel. If they just picked one color to go with, either the Vault or the University Gold, I feel like it could look 1,000 times better. There are a bunch of posts on Instagram of people painting either the top or the bottom, either one of the colors just to get it to match, and it looks so much better when it's actually painted to match. So I don't know what Jordan Brand was trying to do here, but if you're interested, this did drop in early January, and honestly, you could probably pick it up for a pretty easy price because I can't see this being a very popular colorway. Okay, next we're going to talk about the big KITH Nike collaboration. So as I talked about with the Air Force Ones and the Uniform Monday program, KITH and Nike collaborated on the 18th of the 12th on the Friday for a big capsule. This was for the New York Knicks with a bunch of hoodies, t-shirts, and a bunch of other goods with co-branding of the New York Knicks all over it, as well as, you know, obviously the pieces colored and inspired by the team's colorways. Now, I personally was a little bit disappointed by this collaboration. I didn't get to cover it in its own Streetwear Talk video, but it didn't feature a lot of outwear. And the standard had been set from the Major League Baseball collaboration that they did earlier on in 2020. And yeah, it just, yeah, I don't know. I kind of would have liked more outwear. Either varsity jackets, faux fur jackets, some kind of jacket. There wasn't too much here for me. It wasn't really for me, but if you guys are interested, it did drop on the 18th of the 12th, and I'm sure you could find it on the secondary market pretty easily. Moving back into 2021, on the first Monday of 2021, we had a Monday program. We had KITH releasing a Pegasus Monday program on the 4th of the 1st. This featured a crew neck, a hoodie, and I think a t-shirt, if I remember off the top of my head correctly, which just featured some crazy little graphics on it. I didn't really dive into it too much, and I didn't get to cover it in its own Streetwear Talk video. The first two Monday programs that released in 2020 were kind of like, it's alright. It was really the MLK one and obviously the Simpsons one that we'll cover as well that I really felt like it shined in 2021 as some awesome Monday programs. But we'll get into that later. But yes, this Pegasus Monday program released on the 4th of the 1st. Okay, now moving on, we're talking about another cactus plant flea market artist collaboration. So as you may or may not know, in the last episode we talked about the Man on the Moon 3 Kid Cudi cactus plant flea market collaboration. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the Kid Cudi Whole Lotta Red cactus plant flea market collaboration that dropped at the same day as the album dropped, which was the 25th of December. Now, a lot of people were very thrown up about these designs. They were like, oh my god, Playboy Cardi has designed the worst hoodies ever. These are totally crap. But, I mean, this is a very iconic cactus plant flea market design. Like, that's literally what these guys do. They put the fun back into streetwear and back into graphics like this. So it made sense to people that know what cactus plant flea market is. I feel like I just saw a bunch of people commenting on it that only know Playboy Cardi and don't know the brand that he collaborated with. So that kind of makes sense into why it was so negatively perceived. But I feel like a lot of people will get around this, and there's going to be a lot of cactus plant flea market and Playboy Cardi fans. They're going to like this collaboration. I wouldn't have mind picking up a piece, but I missed out on it. So yeah, it dropped on the 25th of December, and I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was anything crazy revolutionary, but I thought it was a fun little capsule. Hopefully I can pick some of it up later down the line on the secondary market. Next, moving back into 2021, we have the New Balance and Levi's collaboration. They collaborated together on some 327s, which has been a very popular model in 2020. These ones are a little bit expensive because the 327s actually featured denim on them. Yes, of course, they collaborated with Levi's and used denim on them, but they were $130 US, and they released on the 6th of the 1st. Now next, going back to 2020, we have that Supreme released week 18 of their fall winter 2020 collection. They released it on the 24th of December, which was Christmas Eve. Pretty crazy. There wasn't really anything that I was feeling it from it. It kind of felt like just like a throwaway week. They released a Zippo lighter in it, which was alright, but apart from that, you could have easily slept on this and nobody would have batted an eye. Now next we have to talk about the UK skating brand that we all know and love, Palace Skateboards, as they released week 5 of their Ultimo 2020 collection. They released it on the 26th, as the Friday was Christmas Day, and it was just a bit weird if they dropped something on Christmas. In week 5 they had the Adidas collaboration, which was a tracksuit done in some very cool colors there, as well as a tri-blur t-shirt. Those were the only two pieces that released. They just released them in a bunch of different colorways. Yeah, it was a nice way to end the season. It was a nice way to end the season. A lot of people were really waiting for that Adidas tracksuit. I'm sure there were a lot of people that wanted the upper and the bottom part and are probably searching for one or the other. If you are one of those people, I hope you can get both pieces because it's a cool tracksuit to have in both, but it released on the 26th of December. Now moving back into 2021, we have the Palace Skateboards released a Tri-Dart hoodie capsule. It was a nice little capsule of just some Tri-Ferg hoodies with an altered Tri-Ferg on it. I felt like this was meant to be a part of the Ultimo 2020 collection, but it got delayed, so then they had to release it in 2021, so then they couldn't call it the Ultimo collection. I don't know, it felt like scraps from the Ultimo 2020 collection. Either way, it was a very nice little capsule just featuring a bunch of hoodies, and strangely enough, it released on the Saturday, which is very odd for Palace, but it released on Saturday, the 2nd of January. Now moving back into 2020, sorry, I know we're going back and forth, we have that on the 27th of the 12th, KITH released a Sherpa box logo Monday program. It was a couple of Sherpa box logo hoodies. I wasn't the biggest fan of these as I felt like the two brown or pinky toned ones kind of look like the mince meat just like done on a hoodie. The only one that really spoke to me was kind of like the navy one, but this one was very popular apparently amongst fans as it completely sold out, but it dropped on the 27th of the 12th. Now coming back into 2021, we had the big event which was Yams Day. Yes, to celebrate ASAP Yams, we had the 2021 virtual only celebration, obviously because coronavirus, but on top of that, a bunch of clothing brands collaborated with the gang to release some clothing in honor of him. Obviously your standard V-Loan drops happened, which are a bit of a snooze for me, in my opinion. And we had Psych World as well, and there were some cool pieces as well, but I think the standout for me is that Hidden NY, the curation page, collaborated with the AWGE gang, the org gang, and released a bunch of hidden tees with ASAP Yam's iconic birthmark on the tees as well. I just thought this is really monumental because Hidden NY is collaborating with them. I remember when Hidden NY was like less than 100k followers, and now they're collaborating with, you know, ASAP Rocky and the gang. Like, I just had to talk about that. Like, that's huge. Released obviously on Yams Day, which is the 18th of the 1st. Next we have a little Dover Street Market collaboration. On the 20th of the 1st, we had Dover Street Market collaborating with Off-White for some vintage wash hoodies with Off-White's iconic directional arrows graphic on the back of it and co-branding. These hoodies released each for 350 British pounds, which is a bit pricey, but it's exactly what you expect for Off-White. These really didn't do too much for me. Off-White hoodies and sweaters have never really done much for me, but I'm sure there's a lot of big Off-White fans out there that really want to get around this. So yeah, it released for 350 Great British pounds on the 20th of the 1st. We have to talk about a brand that doesn't really get talked about a lot on this platform. We have to talk about that Puma collaborated with Peanuts to do a nice little capsule on the 18th of the 1st. Featured a bunch of hoodies, sweats, and even a little bit of something for the kids as well. So if you're a fan of Peanuts and you like Puma, well, it's a perfect collaboration for you. It dropped on the 18th of the 1st. I'm sure you could still find it in some stockists or Puma online. I feel like it would still be available. Next we have to talk about another skating brand. This time round it's one from San Francisco. We have to talk about that Huff did a Chinese New Year, Year of the Ox capsule on the 14th of the 1st. They did a bunch of hoodies, crews, socks, all these different pieces with all over different prints and stuff like that. It's really crazy. I thought it was really cool. I didn't pick up any of it, but if you guys are interested, it did drop on the 14th of the 1st, so some of it might still be available. You might be able to find some places that stock it and are still selling it. Definitely go check it out though if you're a fan of celebrating, obviously, this Chinese New Year. Now moving into a new Fear of God Essentials release, what we got is drop 2 of their California Winter 2020 collection. Now this actually dropped in 2021 on the 15th of the 1st, but I mean, the collection first started in 2020 and this is the second drop of it. That's why you're getting a 2020 collection in 2021. It was actually a pretty cool collection. Drop 2 had a lot of cool pieces here. We had some nice coaches jackets, just some nice colored ones, very nice Fear of God coloring here. We had unique knit hoodies. So normally you see knits obviously in the crew neck version. You don't see them in, you know, hoodies. We got essentials knit hoodies, which I actually thought were kind of cool. The textures look really nice on them. It's cool because it just adds like a textured look to otherwise what normally would have been just a cotton hoodie. So I actually think these are kind of cool. Next, we got just classic crew neck sweaters, just like, you know, the crew neck sweaters with essentials written on them, done in some very nice Fear of God coloring. But one piece that I thought that also stood out really well was the puffer. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of puffer jackets at all, but I thought the silhouette was really cool. It was bulky in the areas that you want it to be bulky. It was thin in the areas that you wanted it to be thin. And it also had some drawstrings and like a turtleneck upper as well. I just thought that was really well done. I thought they did a really good job in all the pieces they released. It was definitely a really solid capsule, and it all dropped on the 15th of January 2021. Okay, next we're going to talk about a Nike Dunk Low. What we got is we got the Dunk Lows in the white and the black on the 14th of the 1st, 2021. Now, these, they released on the 14th in what I know, I think Europe. I think they got delayed to the 20th in the US, and Australia, I don't think we've even gotten a release yet. So I think these are going to be releasing in like February for us, if Australia even gets a release for them. But from what I know, it was on the 14th of the 1st was the first release that these happened. They also came in kids and women's sizing as well. They dropped for $110 US for the men's sizing. A little bit unsure on what the pricing on the women's and kids would be, but I'd assume they'd be the same or less for the kids at least. But yeah, it's a really solid colorway. It's just the same colorway as the, you know, Air Jordan 1s come in, the black and white there. It's iconic, very easy to wear, very nice shoe, and it released on the 14th of the 1st. Now talking about another dunk that released on alongside of this, we had the Nike Dunk High women's, yes, this is a women's exclusive, Sale Football Greys released for $125 US on the 14th of the 1st. This was a very well colored Dunk High. Not a color palette that you normally see the Dunks dive into. More so Dunks are usually either two-tone or three-tone colorways that feature very strong, heavy, hard-hitting colors. This was very soft, very much very Fear of God-esque in a way. It was just really nice, I wouldn't say pastel, but soft colors, and I think it works really, really well as a women's sneaker. Works very, very well as a two-tone dunk. It was just really nice, really unique, and that's what kind of drew me to it. But these released on the 14th of the 1st. You might be able to find some in your size in the secondary market. It was a really nice colorway though. Because the women got the Sale Football Greys, the men do get their own version of it as well. What the men got on the same day, the 14th of the 1st, for, on my records I have it as 120 USD, but these were very, I don't feel like these details were very reliable. I got all these details of StockX and I feel like they're not very reliable, but these, the men got the Nike Dunk Highs White Vast Grey. And I mean, I'm more of a fan of this colorway because I like soft grays and stuff like that, and neutral grays are a big trend in 2020. But yeah, this was a really sick dunk. The colors are really nice. Two tones are super easy to wear, and I feel like this is going to appeal to a lot of people that went for like the soft or boy aesthetic kind of thing, where it was like very light khaki and light earth tones and stuff like that. I feel like this colorway is going to work really, really well for them. But it dropped on the 14th of the 1st, just like the rest of the dunks that we have talked about. Now we have another dunk that we have to talk about. This one is quite interesting. It originally released as a collaboration, and now it's getting its own debut. What we are getting is the Nike Dunk Low Medium Grey Varsity Reds, releasing obviously the low cut for $110 US. They released on the 14th of the 1st, and this was the colorway that Virgil Abloh used for his collaboration with Nike on the Dunk Lows. I thought it was really cool to finally see them getting a release in 2021 without all the off-white goodies that are attached to it, like the extra laces and stuff like that. But it was a really solid colorway, and it released alongside all these other dunks on the 14th of the 1st. Now I've talked enough about dunks. Enough about dunks. Let's dive into Adidas and Yeezy for a second. Too much dunk talk. What we have is that Adidas and Yeezy released a pair of 380s. If I can pronounce this right, the Yeekorite in a reflective colorway. These dropped for 250 USD on the 16th of the 1st. The colorway was this like white and gray with a little bit of brown. It was a lot more of a solid colorway compared to the previous 380 releases that we have seen. The 380 started off strong, went downhill a little bit, but this definitely brought it back up. As I said, the reflectives released on the 16th of the 1st. I'm unsure if they released in a non-reflective color. I assume they did, but yeah, I just couldn't find a lot about them. Either way, they dropped for the first time on the 16th of the 1st. Now we got to go back to talking about dunks. More dunks, I know. What we have next is that Nike and it's Notre, isn't it? Like Notre Dame, like that. It's a Notre. They collaborated on some dunk highs. They collaborated with two colorways. They did a light Orwood brown, which was this really nice colorway where it was like the soft colored two-tone ones we saw before, with these like really like hiking looking laces. I thought they were kind of cool. We also got a blue version called the Blue Void. This one was really nice. It was like this really denim wash looking blue with this softer blue for the upper and then just like an aged midsole. It was two very solid color choices. They both released for 150 US dollars and they released on the 23rd of the 1st. Next, we've got to talk about a very wild dunk. What we have next is the Nike SB Dunk Low Street Hawker. This released for 110 US dollars on the 22nd of the 1st. It's just this crazy dunk with this all over like different mismatching design plastered all over it. Very, very wild, very, very Nike SB dunk. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on it, guys, but it dropped on the 22nd of the 1st. Now, next we have a women's Jordan exclusive. I think this is the first one of 2021. What we have is the Air Jordan 4 women's Starfish colorway. This one was alright. Yeah, I don't know. Very odd colorway. And I feel like this one's going to go under the radar. Look, if you just want like a Jordan 4 with some like, I don't know, like black, corally, starfish colored upper, then this is your go. It released for 200 USD on the 22nd of the 1st, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird colorway. It's like they grabbed the breads and then slightly altered the colors a little bit from red to this like starfish colorway, and then the upper they like combined the black with the starfish. I don't know, man. Felt a little bit weird. But hey, released on the 22nd of the 1st for 200 US dollars. Now next I'm going to be talking about an atrocious Yeezy colorway. What we had on the 23rd of the 1st was the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700, so the OG silhouette, done in the Sun colorway. This cost 240 US dollars, and it is basically the OG colorway with children's crayons colors thrown at it. Like, it's just, oh man, it's super hideous. It's super hideous. I don't know, man. Like, I struggled with the OG colorway initially. Like, it took time for me to be like, yeah, okay, this isn't too bad, This, however, I do not feel the same way. They literally grabbed the colorway that took me the longest time to like slightly feel okay about, and they applied all these bright, disgusting looking colors to it. This was not a vibe at all. I was not a fan of this one. According to StockX, it released for 240 US dollars on the 23rd of the 1st. Now next we have to talk about another Chinese New Year release, but this time in the sneaker world. What we have is the Air Jordan 5 Low Chinese New Year's for 215 US dollars, so quite expensive for a low cut sneaker, to be honest. They released on the 23rd of the 1st, and I think the reason that they're a higher retail price is because they tear away. Like, you know how a lot of Jordans and SB models have had this idea where you have material over the top of it and then you tear away and there's new colorway underneath. Yeah, I think these ones are one of those, which is why the retail price is higher. But yeah, these are releasing, oh sorry, these released on the 23rd of the 1st. I think they're alright, but I think I prefer the Chinese New Year Jordan 5 lows that released a couple years back. They are definitely my preferred colorway over the, you know, so far released Air Jordan 5 lows. Next we had a little capsule of clothing. Next on the 23rd of the 1st we had Noah Clothing collaborate with Batman, or more specifically DC Comics. They released some cool t-shirts, a nice Harrington jacket, but I don't know, man. It was kind of small. It was like a 5-piece capsule including accessories, and I was kind of like, oh, that's it. Like I was expecting the huge release with all these crazy pieces. No, they released like 5 pieces, and some of them were accessories, so only like 3 of them were pieces of clothing. And I was like, oh, well, I guess that's it. Some of it's still available though, guys, so if you are interested, head on over to Noah Clothing's website to pick it up, but it dropped originally on the 23rd of the 1st. Now next we have to talk about our favorite Japanese streetwear brand, or at least some people's favorite Japanese streetwear brand. We have Bape collaborated with Big Sean to celebrate the release of Detroit 2, his most recent album. They released just some simple white or black t-shirts with Baby Milo chilling with Big Sean. Nothing too crazy here. They dropped on the 23rd of the 1st, if any of you guys were interested in that release there. Next we have another Bape release, one that you guys were a little bit disappointed that I didn't get around to covering before it released, and I'm very sorry for that, so we're going to cover it now. What we have is the Bape and Levi's collaborated for a 2021 camo capsule. This featured the iconic Levi's trucker jacket that zips down the back, and you can like mix and match with the different camos that Bape has released. I talked about the original collaboration that happened like way back in like 2019, and then the Miami exclusive one that happened in, I want to say, 2020. Yeah, no, so they've released more camos now that you can collaborate with. They've done the split jackets. They've also done some camo jeans and some camo caps as well. So a capsule filled with pieces for everyone. This dropped on the same day as the Big Sean Detroit 2 capsule, which was the 23rd of the 1st. Next, we've got a very cool little capsule that I quite enjoyed that I wish I covered on time, but unfortunately, as I mentioned, I was away holidaying. What we have is that Doc Martens and Keith Haring collaborated for a capsule of 1460s and 1461s. Obviously, Keith's passed away, so it was with the foundation, but what they did is they applied a bunch of Keith's iconic artwork to the 1460 and the 1461 and released them on the 22nd. I was a big fan of this. I thought this was really cool. Keith always has a special place in my heart. I loved his work. I just thought it was really cool. So yeah, if you guys are interested, you might be able to find it still available somewhere, but it dropped on the 22nd of the 1st. Okay, now next we have to backtrack a little bit to the 18th of the 1st as KITH released their MLK Monday program. We covered that on the channel. It was the last video that I did before I went on holiday. It was a pretty cool capsule. It featured some all over print pieces, just some nice tees. All the proceeds went to various different charities from memory. So if you were interested in picking up some MLK clothing and helping out some charities at the same time, that was the way to do it. It didn't sell out instantly though, which I thought was quite rare for KITH though. Normally their Monday programs sell out straight away. Either way, it dropped on the 18th of the 1st. Okay, now next we have to talk about the first Supreme release of 2021, and this is the final recent release that we have to cover today, guys. We have that Supreme and Nike collaborated on a pair of Air Max Go Domes on the 14th of the 1st. I went over it in a sneaker talk video. I wasn't a huge fan of the choice of color and materials on the upper. The overall silhouette is fine, but I feel like Supreme could have done a lot better when it comes to this collaboration. But I feel like they're doing it just with their normal little laugh that they do where they release really ugly pieces and they're like, let's just see if it sells out. And well, I think it did exactly that. But yeah, these released on the 14th of the 1st, and that is the final release, guys. In recent releases. Oh my god. That went on forever. Holy jeez. Wow. Yeah, okay, well, that's all the recent releases that I have for us. We'll now move on to section 5, which is streetwear and fashion news and rumors. Now moving into our 5th section, guys, after that very long section 4 there, we have streetwear and fashion news and rumors. And to kick off this section, we have some very, very big news that was announced to us last year. Yes, what we have is that Adidas is stealing Jerry Lorenzo from Nike. I mean, I know that's been very over dramatic there, overly dramatic, but I mean, yeah, Jerry Lorenzo is leaving Nike to go work with Adidas, which is quite an exciting thing for 2021. As I mean, if any past collaborations with Nike then going to Adidas have shown, it's that people seem to get more creative freedom with what they want to do when they go to Adidas. I'm mainly referring to Kanye here, of course, because he left Nike to go to Adidas because of creative freedom. He didn't have, or at least he felt like he didn't have a lot of it. And I don't know if Jerry Lorenzo was feeling the same way. I know that one of the big reasons Kanye left Nike was because he wanted to start his own sub-label Yeezy, and Nike wasn't a huge fan of that because they want to keep you under the same umbrella because then they don't have to pay you as much, XYZ and all that type of stuff. And maybe there was something going along there because Jerry Lorenzo wants or is going to start the third label of Fear of God, which is Fear of God Athletics, and he's going to be working on a bunch of sporting gear and goods, as well as I think primarily focusing on basketball gear for Adidas and for Fear of God Athletics. So maybe he wanted to continue or do Fear of God Athletics, but Nike didn't let him, and that's why he had to leave. We honestly don't know. I remember back in 2020 when we saw the Question Allen Iverson inspired Fear of God ones right at the start of the year. They released exclusively an All-Star Weekend and then got a later release. I remember hearing rumors back then at the start of 2020, people saying this is going to be his last collaboration, he's going to leave. And I was like, whoa, that's kind of out of nowhere, no way, where are we getting that information from? It was never really confirmed. Then throughout the year, we just got a bunch of releases and I was like, oh, okay, it seems like it's all good. Then right at the end of the year of 2020, we also got Nike and Fear of God collaborating for a basketball themed collection. So, you know, maybe there was something there. Maybe that was going to be the start of what Fear of God Athletics was aiming to be, but maybe Nike wanted to keep, you know, control of that. I don't know. Either way, he's gone. He's out of Nike's grip. He's gone. He's now with Adidas, which is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they make. I'm very interested to see their basketball shoes. It's definitely going to be a huge, huge thing in 2021, guys. So stay tuned. We will have to see what Fear of God Athletics and Jerry Lorenzo have in store for us in 2021. Now, moving to something a lot less dramatic, we have that Supreme and Palace had to have an online sale at the end of 2020, well, more specifically at the start of 2020 as well. But what happens is that if you guys don't know, Supreme and Palace, whenever they don't sell their seasonal stuff, they usually put it on sale in store at their locations and sell it there. This is so it's perceived as the brand never goes on sale online because you can never buy things online on sale from their store pages. But they had to do this time because of coronavirus. They weren't able to do an in-store sale because of, COVID restrictions and stuff like that. It wasn't the best look for either brand because it was, a time where people were actually able to see the brand go on sale. And then they're like, oh, okay, wow. So it's definitely hurt the image of both brands. Honestly, I don't care either way. It's just the exact same sale that happens in store but online. But it can change people's perspective quite a bit. So it probably hurt James Jebbia and Palace's team to do this. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I don't know if any of you guys picked anything up from their sale. Most of the pieces that they have left over that go on sale are pieces that you don't normally want anyway. No, they're on sale for a reason, but yeah. Be interested to know, did any of you guys pick up anything up from the online sale, or how do you feel about the online sale? Does it affect how you feel about the brands? Let me know down in that comment section below. Now moving on, I'm also going to be talking about a new lookbook that was showcased that I think a lot of you guys should check out. What lookbook I'm referring to is the Undercover Fall Winter 2021 to 2022 men's collection. They showcased the lookbook on their Instagram and obviously on their online store as well. There were some very, very cool pieces here. I just thought I'd bring it up in this section here, guys, just so we can talk about it, because it's a very cool lookbook. We got a bunch of cool printed parkas and jackets and a very interesting color palette. Not interesting as in like crazy, unique, or bad in any way, but it was well done. It was a well curated color palette for the collection to work with the prints. I thought it was very nice. But yeah, definitely go check out on Undercover's Instagram page, at least at a bare minimum, the lookbook for their new upcoming collection. And another one you definitely have to keep your eyes and ears out for is Fendi. I'm not normally a huge Fendi fan. You know, I see Fendi clothing, I'm like, yeah, okay, their monogram prints alright, they're alright, they're at least some okay stuff. But it's this upcoming collection, their Fall Winter 2021 collection, that I was actually like, damn, that's not bad. Which is a huge change of pace for me, because normally I'm like, it ain't that good. But this was good. This was good. They had some really cool outwear, and I think definitely the piece that stole the show was the trench coat with the scribbled Fendi lettering all over it, done in different stitching colors. That was really, really well done. I think that was my favorite piece. I'm amazed I could say there's a favorite piece. Like, I'm not normally a Fendi guy, but these are some solid pieces. Definitely keep your eyes and ears out, guys. Go check out the posts on Fendi's Instagram. These are some solid pieces releasing in this collection. Last but not least, our last bit of streetwear and fashion news. It's a pretty dumb one. It was showcased today, but basically what has happened is Supreme has teased a bobsled. They're probably going to release it this year, but yeah, I don't reckon it'll release in the Spring-Summer 2021 collection. Probably the Fall-Winter 2021 collection, but I could be wrong. But yes, guys, they posted a little video of a bobsled. So I reckon it's going to be like all the other big releases that Supreme does, like the bikes and stuff. It's going to be in-store only. There's probably only going to be like 100 in existence. But it's just a dumb Supreme accessory that, of course, they're going to do one, you know. They've done a brick, they've done it all. Now they got to do a bobsled, but I have to mention it in section 5 today, guys. Yeah, pretty dumb stuff. Anyway, that's everything that I have for streetwear and fashion news and rumors, guys. So we'll move on over now to section 6, which is sneaker news and rumors. Now moving into the 6th section, sneaker news and rumors, and we'll kick it off by showcasing a not for sale one of one, which honestly I kind of wish was for sale and released as the general release, because the colorway is a lot better than the colorways we've seen of it. What I'm talking about is that Yoon Ambush shows off on her Instagram her one of one, or at least we assume one of one, not for sale Chicago colorway version of her Dunk High collaboration with Nike. She has changed the color blocking of her Dunk High collaboration, which I'm a huge fan of. I think the silhouette is awesome. It's an awesome take on it. To do the Chicago color blocking, made famous by the Jordan 1. I personally think this is sick. I love it. I love the Chicago color blocking. It works so well on the silhouette. It's just a shame that we're getting, well, I mean, we got the black and white one, and that was a really good colorway, and we're getting this like hot pink one in February, but I kind of would have liked the Chicago one. I just love that colorway. I made it on my heat on my feet this week. Like, how could you not? This is just, look at this. Amazing. An amazing colorway. So when it's applied well to a good silhouette, it just works really well. And I thought this was a really cool, one of one or not for sale colorway that she did. And I thought I'd share it with you guys to start off section 6. Now moving on to our next bit of sneaker news and rumors, we have that Supreme will be releasing a third colorway of their seasonally released Nike Air Force Ones. So as you may or may not know, Supreme releases Nike Air Force Ones now every season. What they are releasing this season though in 2021, either in the spring summer or in their obviously their fall winter, we aren't sure on which one yet, They are potentially going to be releasing a flax colorway, like a wheat colorway for it. There hasn't been any official images as of yet. They're all mock-ups from what I've seen. But apparently we will be getting one in 2021. Again, unconfirmed if it's spring, summer, or fall, winter 2021. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But I thought I'd bring it up with you guys. We are allegedly getting a third colorway of the Supreme Air Force Ones. Now moving on, apparently, well, not even apparently, we had leaked to us that a second version of Travis Scott's Jordan 6s have now, well, yeah, they've now been leaked. They've now been leaked. Are they coming out in 2021? We have no idea. It would be an interesting way to kick off the year. There have been heaps and heaps of Travis Scott collaborations over the past 2 years, but there hasn't been any, rumors or anything about what's coming in 2021, which makes me question if he's planning on continuing or, really focusing on his Nike collaboration. We're just gonna have to see. But this second version of the Travis Scott 6s gives me hope that we're going to see more Travis Scott, Jordans, Nikes in general in 2021. This got leaked to us and a couple of friends and family have said, yeah, this is my new pair from Travis Scott. So there is hope. It could just be a friends and family, but it is a totally new version. Like there is another pocket on it. It's not just like a colorway. If it was just another colorway of his Travis Scott 6s, I'd be like, yeah, okay, it's probably friends and family. But this is a different silhouette. So I'm kind of like, maybe it's a new release. We can only hope. We'll have to wait for what this year has in store for us. Now, speaking of Travis Scott, we've got to talk about him being the leaker that he is. What we have is that Travis Scott leaked to us the ready-made Nike blazer mids that are allegedly releasing towards the end of February. This was, I think, the first time we've seen them on foot. I think we have seen them in the past before, but I thought it was quite interesting that he was the one that did it to us. Of course he did. Of course he did. I think he was just taking a photo, probably not of the shoes, but maybe of the pants or something like that. And well, it was leaked to us, and we're like, hey, what's that? What you got there? But yes, it's very interesting. We'll have to wait and see if they do get released at the end of February. But it's good to see that the blazers are getting collaborated on. I feel like they're kind of forgotten about it. It's a very nice silhouette, so I'm happy to see that Ready Made is doing a collaboration on them. Speaking of more Nike collabs that are getting showcased and leaked to us, Undercover recently showcased their Fall/Winter 2021 collection via a lookbook, which of course, as I just mentioned before in section 5, you should definitely go check out. As also in that lookbook, on top of it being a nice lookbook, they also showcased to us their upcoming Nike Dunk High collaboration. We have no real zoomed in high quality images of it. We literally can only see what the models are, wearing in the lookbook, but it looks like it features some big, bold graphics or text graphics on the back heel. It's really hard to really say more than that. It looks like it's two-tone, white and black, and there's probably going to be a black and white version, but that's really all I got. That's really all we have. We just have those images from the lookbook, guys. Maybe you can do some zooming in, having some, proper analysis here and there, but that's all I can really see. I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on what we can see here down in that comment section below. And of course, another Japanese brand thought to do the same thing, showcasing a new Nike collaboration that they also have teased to us. What we have seen now is the upcoming Comme des Garçons Foamposite collaboration with Nike. Yes, it looks like Comme des Garçons is doing a collaboration with Nike on some Foamposites. Foamposites are coming back in 2021. This time around, we're getting like a swirly kind of graphic done on the side panels there. And I kind of like it. It adds a little bit of texture and makes it a lot different from your regular Foamposite. This was leaked to us as it was worn on the runway. Now, you have to be careful with the Comme des Garçons collaborations though, because they can be showcased on the runway, but they won't get released for a whole year. Because some of the CDG Nike collaborations that we've seen on the runway don't get released for like a whole year or the end of the year. So you really got to, chill. Just chill with the CDG Foamposite leak, because there's no confirmation it's going to get released anytime soon, guys. But that is it that is everything that I have to discuss in section 6 today, sneaker news and rumors. That's all of them there, guys. So we'll move on over now to cover some upcoming releases. Let's head on over to section 7 and talk about the upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. Now moving on to section 7, guys, we don't actually have a lot to cover here with upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. We're covering all the releases that are happening between the 25th of the 1st and the 31st of the 1st, and then there's not much that I could actually find. But to kick it off, we have that Nike and Stussy are collaborating together for the first 2021 capsule on a insulated, upcycled apparel collection. So this collection is quite small in size, but I think it's really in the small details where the collection shines. So 75% of the materials used is recycled nylon, from carpeting to used fishing nets. Like, they use a bunch of different sources to get their recycled materials. There's going to be a pullover jacket, a skirt, and men's pants as well. They have a very unique dye applied to them as well. It's just a very interesting small capsule. This is meant to go along and coincide with the Air Force Ones that are being hand dyed that are releasing on the 29th as well. Yes, from what I know, this collection is going to release on the 29th of the 1st, but I'll try and do a streetwear talk video to cover it before it actually releases, just so we have some further details there. Now next, of course, if we're covering between the 25th and the 1st, that means we're covering the Monday that has just gone, which means we got to talk about the KITH The Simpsons Monday program collection. This was a huge one, guys. Came out of nowhere. Normally, KITH likes to tease a upcoming collection by releasing a signature piece or 2 or 3 pieces in the Monday program before the collection. Not this Monday program. KITH was like, you know what? Simpsons collab 2021. Go. Was out of nowhere. Unfortunately, it was the day that I came back from my holiday, so I didn't get to cover it before it released. But there were some cool knits. There were some cool graphic hoodies, crews, and t-shirts. I would have liked to see more outwear. The past couple KITH big collections have been missing a lot of outwear. Would have liked to seen some jackets. Would have liked to seen some varsity jackets with Golden Bear like they were doing last year. I don't know. It would have been nice. The hoodies, though, the crews, the knits, they were all solid, but I've been set to this high KITH expectation now. Hopefully, the next Monday program collection will be something like that. That'll include some outwear, though. And last but not least, I have one more release to cover in this upcoming streetwear and fashion releases. We have that Ralph Lauren and KITH are collaborating for a capsule on the 27th of the 1st, so tomorrow. It's a cool blend of Chinese traditional buttonings, graphics, prints, everything like that on iconic Ralph Lauren silhouettes. So it's a blend of Chinese culture and American culture coming together. I think it's a really cool capsule. I think this is going to go under the radar unless a bunch of pages start posting about it, but it's definitely something to keep your eyes and ears out for. This will be releasing, as I mentioned, tomorrow, the 27th of the 1st. Rounds it off, guys. That is all the releases I could really find for this upcoming part, like next 6 days or so. So that's everything for section 7 now. We'll move on now to upcoming sneaker releases, which of course is section 8. Now moving into our final section, guys, upcoming sneaker releases. We'll be talking about all the sneaker releases that are happening between the 28th of the 1st and the 31st of the 1st. To kick it off with, we have, of course, more dunks being released. We have the Nike Dunk Low Chinese New Year Firecracker colorway releasing on the 28th of the 1st for $100 US. Now, this originally released in women's and kids sizing on an earlier date. It looks like the men's ones got delayed. There's been no prop-up of them yet on Australia, and it might be delayed for you guys in the US as well. Seems like Europe's been getting a lot of stuff on time, but yeah, that is the first upcoming release that we have, guys, $100 USD, and it's releasing on the 28th of the 1st. Now we've got another dunk to talk about, guys. We have the Nike Dunk Low Medium Curry. I know, sounds delicious, doesn't it? I'm really thinking about curry already. What we have on the 28th of the 1st for 110 USD is a nice little brown on brown Dunk Low with yeah, just some really nice colors. Just some nice colors. Just a simple, like, if your color palette is earth, browns, greens, like that kind of vibe, this Dunk Low can work really, really well for you. If you're interested in it, it is releasing in a couple days time on the 28th of the 1st for $110 US. Now next we've got another dunk, but this time it's a dunk high. What we have next is the Nike Dunk High PRM Dark Russet, or Russell. Either way. Releasing on the 28th of the 1st for $120 US. This is essentially a high top version with a slightly different color palette of the previous dunk. It is quite nice. I like its like rugged suede they're using for the outer panels. I think that is a cool idea to change up the materials just a little bit. It's a solid release. Honestly, again, if your color palette for your clothing is greens, earth tones, stuff like that, I feel like this dunk can actually work really, really well with that color palette there. But it's releasing on the same day for the 28th of the 1st for $120 US. Next we've got an interesting one. Next we have that Converse and Concepts are collaborating on 2 pairs of sneakers. We have that they're collaborating on a nice classic pair of Chuck Taylor All-Stars, as well as some BB Evos. Yes, so what is going on is Concepts and Converse are releasing these, and they're taking inspiration from the founders of basketball and applying the basically basketball started in the 1800s by I cannot remember who for the life of me, but they used peach buckets as the original basketball hoops. And what this collection is it's applying the peach fruit colors to these shoes, as these were the original basketball shoes. It's an interesting concept. That's why Concepts is doing it, because they always do wacky collaborations. But yeah, it was kind of cool. So obviously the All-Stars take from the peach itself, and the All-Star BB Evos, they are from a ripening peach. So a peach that isn't ready yet, it's ripening, which is why you see a hint of that peachy orange there, because it's slowly cooking. It's getting there eventually. But it's an interesting collab. The All-Stars are releasing for $120 US, and the All-Star BB Evos are releasing for $140 US. They're both releasing on the same day though, which is the 28th of the 1st. Now up next we have to talk about an upcoming collaboration with a very famous rapper. What we have is Puma and J. Cole collaborating to release a new sneaker called the Dreamer 2 in a yellow colorway. This is being released on the 28th of the 1st for $135 US, and it was originally teased to us by J. Cole recreating the iconic photo on his album 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I thought that was really, really cool. They redid it. It looks exactly the same. It's really wild. It's just like 2021 J. Cole versus 2014. It's absolutely wild. And he's wearing the Carmine Jordan 1s in the original one, which I would love them to retro because that is an amazing colorway of the Jordan 1s. But anyway, yeah, super awesome way to, tease this upcoming collaboration. It's dropping on the 28th of the 1st for $135 US if you guys are interested. Next, we have an upcoming New Balance collaboration. We have New Balance and Pata collaborating on a pair of 991s. They are releasing, they released on the 22nd of the 1st early on Pata's store, but then they're releasing later in New Balance stockists, and I think on the New Balance store on the 29th. Now these are going to retail for 220 euros. Why are they super expensive for a pair of New Balances? They're made in the UK New Balances. That's why they're super expensive. It's a really nice color palette though. I really like the peachy, like soft pink upper. I think it's a really awesome shoe. It's releasing in the women's sizing as well, but guess what? For the same price as the men's. Don't you feel stooged, women, by that one? Normally you get the shoes a little bit cheaper. Not with the New Balance Pata collaboration. That's a no from them. It's a bit of a stooge move, I know, but yeah. Either way, they're both releasing on the 29th now, if you guys are interested. Next, we have an upcoming Jordan release. We have the Air Jordan 9 Dark Charcoal and University Golds, releasing for $190 US on the 30th of the 1st. These ones are not getting talked about at all. It's kind of like a colorway of the Jordan 9. The Jordan 9 is an awesome silhouette, don't get me wrong. Love the Jordan 9. But yeah, I don't know, this one isn't doing too much for me. January seems to have an overarching theme of yellow and black for Jordan Brand, but whatever. This is releasing on the 30th of the 1st for $190 if any of you guys want to go out there and pick it up. And last but not least, we have, of course, the Nike and Stussy Air Force Ones that are being hand-dyed that are releasing this January 29th alongside the recycled clothing that we just talked about in section 7 there. There's no confirmation on the retail price. Apparently these are going to be mega limited because they're individually being hand dyed. So that means that each colorway is going to be different. None are going to be the same because they're all going to be dyed differently. It's going to be very hard to pick up a pair, especially like a pair, like you might get a pair with, like, in your opinion, a bad dye. There's nothing you can do about that. So it's a very risky and also very limited release. So hopefully you guys can pick it up if you guys are interested in it. But that is everything. That is all the upcoming sneaker releases I have to cover for episode 14, guys. Let me know if I missed out on any down in that comment section below. And also let me know all your thoughts and opinions on any of these upcoming sneaker releases down in that comment section below. But that's it, guys. That is everything I have to say. That is episode 14 wrapped up nicely. I'm finally back. We're back to, you know, a regular schedule. I'm going to be uploading a lot more hopefully over the next couple days. But we covered some big topics today. Like we covered the Playboy and Fragment Designs collaborated for a very interesting little capsule. We talked about the KITH Simpsons Monday program. We talked about how Adidas has stolen Jerry Lorenzo's whole brand from Nike, essentially, which is pretty wild. That and many more was covered in today's episode, guys. Definitely let me know if I missed out on anything or if there's anything you want to talk about. Or maybe you want to let me know what your, heat on your feet this week was, or what some recent pickups were for you. Definitely let me know all your thoughts and opinions and everything you have to say down in that comment section below. And of course, guys, if you guys want me to keep continuing doing these podcast episodes, these sneakers and stuff episodes, don't forget to leave a big old like on this video, a comment in the comment section down below, and a subscribe to the channel, as we are also trying to aim for a new milestone this month. While I was away for a week, you guys just kept subscribing. You hit the more subscriber milestones while I was away, so I couldn't set more of them. I need to take week breaks more often. But yes, we have hit 2,830 subscribers, guys. So before the end of January, hopefully with your continuous support, we can reach our new milestone, which is 2,835 subscribers. So subscribe today, guys, and hopefully we can reach that milestone before the end of January. But that's everything I gotta say in episode 14, guys. We covered so much. I'll try and get this video out as soon as possible so none of you guys miss the upcoming releases. But thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for making it this far, guys. So until the next sneaker talk video, until the next streetwear talk video, until the next sneakers and stuff episode, guys, I'll catch you later.